You ever wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning because your dog's trying to kill a bunch of coyotes and somehow inexplicably get a Justin Timberlake song stuck in your head? Yeah, me either. But I got this feeling in my body. I can't stop this feeling. Got this feeling in my body. All right, it's Tuesday, 20 October 2020. Who's the worst at sabbatical? This guy. Good morning, everybody. Welcome, Bear Nation. Thanks for being here. Typically, because it's Tuesday, at this point in this life that we share together, we would be doing coffee time with Bear. And I guess it is coffee time with Bear. Have a little sip of this. Tremendous, believe me, the best. Bam, a Buckeye. Good morning, brother. That's the disaster coffee tsunami. I love it. It's the best, believe it. Don't talk to me about coffee, Joe. You don't even know where you went to college. Welcome, everybody. 102.8 thousand of y'all. Savvy Actual, good morning, brother. Thank you for being here. Please like and subscribe and share. Not necessarily in that order. It'd probably be good. Good morning, Dudley. If you subscribe first, and then you could like this video and then share it. Click the little bell icon. That way, YouTube will pretend to alert you when we go live. But that way, we at least feel good about this. Like, I click the bell. Right, I know. Now we're putting it on them. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. Let's see. Yeah, that helps us. That helps us quite a bit. Intel at bearindependent.com is where you send your intel, your actionable intel. What is intel? Intel is independently verifiable and actionable. So, not just like a bunch of junk that you heard on Facebook. Um, real things, the best things, the tremendous things. Where's my live chat over here on the PC? 317 people watching. What is wrong with us? We all need to get our heads checked. I'm the best. I'm the best. Believe it. Oh, no, I'm not the best. Oh, I found the chat. There it is. James Kroll, good morning. All right. Patreon, you can get 10 months for the price of, no, you can get 12 months for the price of 10 months right now on Patreon. If you want to be a cool kid and support the show, that's how you do it. If you don't want to be a cool kid and don't want to support the show, no hard feelings, but maybe a little thumbs up every now and then. That's cool too. What comes next? I have been getting this question a lot lately, and I've not necessarily had a great answer. Been doing a lot of in-person training events the last few days. Got some more upcoming, and this question comes up over and over. Bear, what are we doing next? What comes next? Well, I'm sitting here trying to answer that for myself this morning, and I came up with some points. There's actually a couple of questions that I feel like we need to answer, and then there's our 7 points that typically during We All Gonna Die Wednesday that we would address. However, it's Tuesday, so I guess it's We All Gonna Maybe Die Tuesday. So the first question that I have, well, first a programming note. What comes next? At least for me, there's going to be less pre-recorded content, at least until after the election 2020, because I don't want to shoot a cute little video on how you should be preparing your winter garden if the representative republic that we enjoy is on fire and falling apart. Okay. So I don't want incongruous context. I'm big on context. So there will be less pre-recorded content and more live streamy things until we realize as a group, as the nation, what the hell comes next. So that being said, there is some stuff that is already pre-recorded. Good morning, Madeline. That you'll see will come out up until right around election day. But after that, we're going to let the content bank kind of run dry so that we can stay contextual. So that's just a programming note for everybody who's been here for a while. You know that I batch content. All right. Is this the most important election ever? Because we've heard that bandied about quite a bit. From the bulwark.com, the most important election of our lifetime or not? Written by Robert Trasinski. interesting name, on 29 September, just a few weeks ago. He posits three questions here, which I think are three good questions. First, what are the big issues, if any, on which this election is being fought? What do voters believe from their perspective, and what are they being asked to decide? Very good question. Second, how uncertain is the outcome? To what extent is the answer already a foregone conclusion before election day? And third, given the advantages of hindsight, what are the actual election results? Well, we don't have the answer to question number three yet. We don't know what hindsight is yet because this particular election hasn't happened. But we can certainly deal with one and two. What are the big issues, if any, on which the election is being fought? At least for me, I think the Supreme Court is a very big deal. I don't want court packing. I don't want any additional justices appointed to the court, which is court packing. I do not trust the Democrats one iota. I think that what used to be the centrist Democratic Party has been overtaken by leftist crazy pants people, and I don't want those people in charge of anything, let alone the judicial decision making of this wonderful, blessed representative republic. Not a fan of that idea at all. I do not trust the economic policies of Biden and Harris one iota. I'm not into modern monetary theory. I don't believe in universal basic income. I believe firmly, 1 Timothy 5, verse 8, he who does not work has denied the faith and is worse than an infidel. Now, what about Bear? I'm in a wheelchair. Roger that. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have provision and blessing for those that need it, but I'm also saying that everybody can contribute and everybody should contribute, for no other reason than let's inform our sense of purpose and let's spend our lives in a worthy cause. Okay, so I don't trust their economic policies at all. I don't believe that they're going to put us on the right international footing for war. I believe that they are big into this whole Agenda 2030 stuff. I think that civil unrest is only going to be perpetuated by the Biden-Harris ticket. The economy is going to tank. Just straight up, the economy is going to tank. I think we're going to continue to have more tyranny and more Rome burning. So, in light of all of that, these are pretty big issues on which to fight an election. And so we're being asked, in my mind, to decide against that, or at least status quo of what we have right now. If President Donald J. Trump continues to do the job that he has said he is going to do, then there's a strong chance that the swamp does continue to get drained, which is cool, right? Exactly, Brad. So stack it to the rafters. Exactly. But I think at a minimum, with the reelection of Donald Trump, we maintain status quo. So I'm being asked to vote either to go down a tyrannical road to a utopia that cannot exist, or at minimum maintain status quo. So that for me is a pretty clear deciding factor. And then the second question here is how uncertain is the outcome? Well, we know already that the Democrats are doing a really good job of undermining the election results that haven't even come in yet. They are already painting the picture that this is a stolen election, that these results are going to be invalidated. I mean, we reported yesterday on the Protect the Results Coalition that is already planning violence in the event that they don't get the political outcome on 3 November that they would like. The results of this election have been undermined since before they started. So I don't think it's a stretch to say that, yeah, this is a really freaking important election. Probably in my lifetime, yes, the most important election, which is why for those who have been here for the last 2.5 years, you may have noticed that reluctantly, Bear has started to report on things like politics. Bear hates politics. I hate politics. I hate them. I hate them. I hate them. Hate him. Hate him. Did I mention I hate him? I'm not a fan at all. But the implications of this particular election just feel massive to me. And so, therefore, yeah, I'm more involved than I have ever been in politics. And I don't necessarily track with the full depth of belief that Donald J. Trump is an absolute outsider and yada, 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 yada. But I don't think he was the intended winner of 2016. And because of that, up until that point, it had always been my feels, my opinion, that if voting mattered, they wouldn't let us do it because they've already picked who they want to win. And I think to a greater or lesser extent, he has upset the apple cart. And it's been entertaining to say the least to watch him upset the apple cart. But the implications of all those apples rolling around in the mud are starting to come home to roost. And I think that's why we're seeing the level of uncertainty that we are seeing now in 2020 going into 2021. So, most important election ever, question mark. Is it? I mean, at least for me it is. I'm not a young man, but I'm not an old man either. Um, Perception versus reality. I think the reality is, yeah, it is absolutely an important election. And at least for me, again, up until this point, Texas T, good morning, brother. At least until this point, it was not, um, the presidential election was not an important thing to me. But the further we go down this road, the more important I do think it is. But I do believe the big they has a plan for whatever comes next, regardless of who wins. Howdy from Salina, Texas. Oh my goodness. I'll tell you what, you need to go over to the Brookshires, the gas station, and you need to go see Daphne, and you need to go give Daphne a hug from Bear. All right? All right. Yeah, that's right. And if not Daphne, then you can go inside the store and maybe get Levi to bag up your groceries and tell him, yo, what's up from Bear. All right. And maybe get some pizza from Chago. Dude can make some pizza, at least the best pizza there is in North Texas that I'm aware of. So, 3 November is my birthday. Happy birthday. Roger that. It's going to be a blast, which brings us to the U.S. Senate. Most important thing we got going on here potentially is the U.S. Senate, believe it or not. I don't know. I don't know. If Biden gets in and there's a democratically controlled House and Senate, kiss your ass goodbye. So, with that, I do want to touch on all of our 7 different factors that we would normally look at here: war, food shortage, civil unrest, the economy, Rome burning, tyranny, and disinformation, and kind of go through point by point by point. I'm curious to know, hit me in the chat right now, if this election, if the results of this election aren't considered legitimate by you, will you recognize the authority of the winner and his administration? I don't want to know what you're going to do. I just want to know, will you recognize the authority of the winner? No. No. Hell no. 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 Not if Biden wins. Nope. I'm moving to Mars. Roger that. Nope, 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 nope. Negative, negative, negative. No, 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 no. Nope, nope. This is what I thought. And so I'm not going to tell you what to do. You need to figure out what to do. But you need to figure out what to do. You need to have a plan for whatever it is that comes next. If you find yourself in a position where you are diametrically opposed to the authority and the powers that be, what are you going to do? And I'm not advocating for any course of action. I'm asking you to consider now, what are you going to do? I myself, luckily for me, the eastern half of Oklahoma is now a reservation, and I'm a quarter Indian, so I'm just going to legitimately form Baristan, and everybody can leave me the hell alone. I don't recognize your authority, white man. And if you want to move to Baristan, you got to bring line gear and a year's worth of food and a tent, and we'll figure out the rest. All right, moving right along. War. China and Russia. I think we're going to have a war as the United States of America in the near future with either China or Russia. The U.S. is a declining superpower. We've talked about this, the fate of empire, Sir John Glubb. We're 244, 246 years into the fate of this 250-year empire. The big they have already decided we're going to have a war. I think it's just a matter of who we fight. If we get Biden as a president, my guess is we will go to war with Russia just based upon all of the rhetoric that is coming out and based upon the known ties between the Bidens and China. What are you going to do? I just told you, Andrew. I just told you what I'm going to do. By proxy or war actual? Great question. We've been having proxy wars for the last, I don't know, 1978 rings a bell. Afghanistan. Probably a hot war. War actual would be my answer. So if Biden wins, I think we're looking at war with Russia. If Trump wins, I think we're looking at potential war with China. So I wanted to go through that just a little bit. Let's see. Number 9. So, all right. So from military times, uh, Pentagon war planners can envision a conflict with China starting in any number of ways. For example, they fear a scenario that might involve a massive Chinese military forces posturing along China's coast near Taiwan, and the aggressive reorientation of Chinese missile systems that would start setting off alarms in Washington, D.C. Top military leaders in the Indo-Pacific Command would brace for reports of cyber attacks, satellites shutting down, vessels crowding and swarming various ships and ports across the South China Sea. More than a dozen experts contacted by Military Times describe how this hypothetical nightmare could erupt fully, perhaps as Chinese missiles start hitting targets in Taiwan. The conflict could spin out of control quickly as sensors across the region light up with simultaneous events stretching the United States and its allies in every imaginable domain all at once. Total war. Remember that. Stretching the United States and its allies in every imaginable domain all at once. Remember, this is all hypothetical, what we're reading here in Military Times, but also remember that war is a game of resources, and resources are tightening up right now. In fact, when we get into food shortage, we're going to talk about that quite a bit. But resources are tightening up. Everybody is seeing this. We're seeing the devaluation of the US dollar coupled with the unavailability or reduced availability of goods and services. A Pentagon annual report on China released Tuesday noted the military capabilities that the United States and its allies might have to counter should such a scenario occur. Among China's assets is the world's largest navy, with a battle force of 350 ships that include 130 major surface combatants. By comparison, the U.S. Navy has 296 deployable ships. China's ground-based missiles have a range of 500 kilometers compared to the 300-kilometer range for U.S. ground-based missiles in theater. And if the United States does strike, it will face the world's largest array of advanced long-range surface-to-air systems, according to the report. It's a global contingency that Pentagon planners are now studying more than ever before, as both the U.S. and Chinese military are setting up more tripwires across the Pacific Rim that could draw the world's two largest powers into open conflict. Chinese military, blah, 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 friction across the region, blah, blah, blah. Other triggers could include China's land claims across the region, its growing economic might, shifting regional alliances, we've seen all of that, and the ever-present tensions on the Korean Peninsula. There's also growing concerns about cyber warfare and space. China's moves are so bold that the Pentagon has reoriented its entire worldview. The 2018 National Defense Strategy aims to shore up not only troops and weapons to deter a fight in the Pacific, but also expand its network of allies in the region. Shabba-dabba-da. Experts agreed roundly that immediate conflict remains unlikely given the huge cost in lives and treasure. Moreover, the nuclear weapons on both sides certainly serve to make leaders more cautious. But within the next decade or less, straining relations coupled with increased Chinese military capability could bring events to the brink. We'll leave it at that for now. For war with China. Very interesting. Jump over to the comments for a minute. Listening in Kentucky. Trip, good morning. The Glock 20 is good. I have one. Well, that's wonderful. Delaware's in the house. Cool beard, brother. Keep growing it out. Well, thank you, Magnum. I was doing it just for you, and it means the world to me that you finally recognized it. I can finally sign off. Shalom, y'all. Oh, just kidding. All right, let's go over to if Russia started World War III, here's how it would go down. Also from Military Times, written by Todd South. Shabba-dabba-da. Fighting likely will follow a period of, this is Russia and the United States. Fighting will likely follow a period of steadily rising tensions and warnings, aka a Cold War or proxy wars, which we've been having. That would give the U.S. enough notice to start moving more airplanes, preparing logistics, and increasing combat capability in Europe, which we've been doing. Nevertheless, the Russians could seize the initiative and move quickly, putting the U.S. at a big disadvantage. Neutralizing Russia's air defenses would be one of the most crucial and dangerous missions for the Air Force. In the early hours of hostilities, as Russian tanks, fighters, and bombers roll into the Baltics, Air Force jets from England, Italy, and Germany would arrive to tease out Russia's advanced surface-to-air defenses and then try to destroy them. The Air Force's fighter squadrons in the region would see the most ferocious air-to-air dogfighting in decades. Simultaneously, the 173rd Airborne Brigade Combat Team in Italy and the 2nd Cavalry Regiment in Germany would join NATO forces to head to the fight. Yay, NATO forces! They, alongside NATO forces, would face as many as 22 maneuver warfare battalions that Russia has in its western military district along its NATO borders. Reports cite a window of 36 to 60 hours for Russian forces to reach and begin siege operations in Tallinn and Riga, the capitals of Estonia and Latvia. Quality light forces like the U.S. Airborne Infantry that the NATO players typically deploy into Riga and Tallinn can put up stout resistance when dug into urban terrain, but the cost of mounting such defense to the city and its residents is typically very high, said a 2016 RAND study on deterring Russia, meaning we're going to lose a bunch of those guys if we backstop Latvia and where the hell was the other place? Latvia and Estonia. The Army's 173rd recognized its own weaknesses of thrust into combat with Russia, according to internal review documents as reported by Politico. So they're not necessarily happy about this idea either. The report states GPS communications would be disabled easily and quickly, forcing troops to rely on rusty high-frequency radio communication skills. Get Jocko back in there. He was a radioman. He wasn't in the Army, but, you know, he could go teach some people leadership, dichotomy, accountability, jujitsu. The brigade also has limited air defense or electronic warfare units. Electronic warfare units. NATO forces, especially armored brigades in Poland, would have to cross the Kaliningrad corridor wedged between where Poland's border meets Lithuania, yada, yada, yada. Meanwhile, the Russians would carry out previous promises to attack Polish missile defenses, which may or may not invoke a NATO response. The two current U.S. Armored Brigade combat teams in Europe would race to the fight, but would likely be outgunned and quickly destroyed. A good example is an upgunned Striker, said retired Army Colonel Doug McGregor, referring to the new Strikers that are outfitted with 30mm cannons. That would be fine on the Mexican border, he said. That formation will be gone in 10 minutes against Russians. A Russian strike through Belarus into the Baltics would be so quick and overwhelming that, like with Crimea, NATO would have to accept that those states are now in the Russian orbit, said retired Army Major General Robert Scales. So the point here of this report, Oh, and this is a great point. During recent war games, NATO tried to use indigenous forces to assist. Quote, that outcome was bluntly a disaster for NATO. Yay, NATO! NATO infantry was unable to retreat and was destroyed in place. U.S. land forces accustomed to air and sea dominance would face Russian interference with their support and could be on their own for hours, days, or even weeks at a time. What we cannot get there in time are the kinds of armored forces required to engage their Russian counterparts on equal terms, delay their advance, expose them to more frequent and more effective attacks from the air and land-based fires, and subject them to spoiling counterattacks, said the RAND study. So the long and short here is that a war with Russia, regardless of how big the Americans are, if we have to fight them, Russians have speed, surprise, violence of action, and we would have to bolster our forces with NATO plans to use indigenous forces, all of which is going to fall right apart because our command and control won't work because we're going to lose GPS and combo, which means we're back to HF and using a compass. And a lot of that hasn't been practiced in a while, and we don't have combined operations here. It's not sea, air, and land, it's land, because our sea and air forces are too far out of theater in order to be able to get there immediately to be able to attack and stymie the Russians. So we can't just phone in a war with the Russians. So I just thought those were two very interesting articles from Military Times. I wanted to touch on those. Let's jump over to food shortage. Hit the comments again really quickly. In my opinion, Vester Dylan is here. If you have been to a training event, you have one of these. And if you have been on Patreon at a certain tier, you have one of these. And if you're me, you have one of these. Thank you, Helen. Thank you, Helen. No, really though, Helen, thank you, Helen. In Michigan, my local stores have been doing good food-wise, but I'm always watching and stocking. Good for you. Got mine 2 weeks ago. Good job, Adam Wallace. But also, thank you, Helen. And for all the people who are listening on the podcast, first of all, please make sure to thank Helen. But also, rate, review, give it the stars, do all the things. There you go. And do you even get ready in the dark like a ninja? Because Bear does. But part of his handicap of being colorblind in the dark is when I grabbed my coffee mug to make my coffee this morning, this is the one that I grabbed. This is not my coffee mug. It is my wife's coffee mug, and it says Hami Hooch on the back of it. So, thank you, Helen, for getting the wrong mug for me this morning. I appreciate it greatly. Also, don't be in my kitchen at 3:17 in the morning, Helen. That's creepy. Okay? All right. But good job, though, Helen. Food shortage. Christian at the Ice Age Farmer. If you are Phelps, good morning. It is fabulous. I know, right? Sparkly with a little bow. If you're not subscribed to the Ice Age Farmer, you ought to be. Christian is the man. He has a phenomenal channel. I don't know how many subs he's up to now, but he should have 10 times that number because he produces awesome content. He really pours his soul into it, and he spends a lot of time getting the facts right. And I have benefited greatly from the Ice Age Farmer. So if you're not syndemic, exactly, Kylie. We're fixing to talk about that. So if you're not subscribed to Christian, you should be subscribed to Christian at the Ice Age Farmer. Tell him Bear sent you. Appreciate you, Dudley. Good looking out. There's the link right there. So in his most recent video, Christian is talking about the concept of a syndemic, a global syndemic, not a pandemic, but a syndemic, which is going to be used to justify world control of food production and distribution. Why is this an issue? Because food is power. It's the same reason I tell you all to stack it to the rafters all the time. We know this is coming. We have been talking about this coming forever. All right, I can't look at the chat. I'm going to get distracted again. Oh my gosh, where did it go? There it is. So, Christian, Ice Age farmer, syndemic, food production, weaponized. The United States is exporting massive amounts of grain. However, other countries around the world are stockpiling record amounts of grain. So, what precisely is going on here? One way to perhaps think about it is a massive transference of wealth, because as the US dollar becomes less and less valuable, food is becoming more and more valuable. Okay. So remember that thus far during COVID, the US dollar has lost at least 10% of its purchasing power. That's not my opinion. That's reported fact. It's lost 10% of its purchasing power. Couple that with increased scarcity of the things that we need to survive. Supply and demand, prices are going up on things. We, like me, my household, we are investing in physical goods. Okay. We stacked it to the rafters so much that we had to make more rafters to stack it to. Okay. So um, think of this in part as a massive transference of wealth from the United States around the globe, because food is power, right? The US dollar is backed by oil, and it's backed by the might of the US economy, and it's backed by the might of the US military. Well, as those things wane, and they can and probably will, as those things wane, that dollar will become worth less and less. Food, you should have a literal tons of. You should have literal tons of food. If you're brand new, don't be scared. Just start. Just start acquiring food. But the election's in 2 weeks. Well, then get enough to last a month, okay? Or whatever you can. Your pantry should be able to carry you for 3 months, okay? If you live in Maine, you know what a 5 month winter is like, okay? If you live up in Canuckistan, where Crazy Canuck is from, you know what a 5 month winter is like. You got to have food in your pantry, okay? So, one bar, reception sucks today. I so sorry. But the United States is selling off record amounts of grain. Countries around the world are buying record amounts of grain. Don't you think that you should be buying record amounts of grain? Uh, Redistribution of wealth from the United States to the world. As the dollar, again, as the dollar continues becoming worth less, not worthless, not yet, but as the dollar becomes worth less, food is becoming more and more valuable. So rather than investing in intangibles, we are investing in tangibles. Tangibles, okay? And if I take a hit on it in a year from now, COVID was just a speed bump on the road of life. Okay, roger that. Um, Frankly, we can all make more money. We will never get our time back, and our lives are priceless. Okay? Things are cheap. People are incredibly valuable. So have the food to feed your people and ways to protect your people. Stack it to the freaking rafters. We have more videos on how to stack food at this channel than I can even describe. I would recommend starting at the Prepper Classroom playlist here at this channel. Also, shout out to all my brand new people who are here. Welcome to the Bear Nation. We've had a lot of new subs overnight because of the Surviving Civil War video. So if you're brand new here, go to the Prepper Classroom series. It's free here on YouTube, okay? It's free here on YouTube. Just start watching it, please. How do I Prepper Classroom? Yeah, but what about Prepper Classroom? Well, did you hear about Prepper Classroom? Okay. And here's the deal. If you have 15 ARs or whatever, you got 3 ARs and no food storage, you can get right now, today's prices, a year's worth of grain for one person for less than what you can buy the cheapest AR on the market for right now. You got 4 people in your family, you just bought 3 months worth of food for your whole family. Just like that. So instead of buying toys and gewgaws, I don't want to hear about how, well, I don't have the money. If you got a whole bunch of fancy stuff, if you got an $1,800 rifle with $1,400 worth of bullcrap strapped to it, I don't want to hear about how you don't have the money for food. What you have not done is prioritized food, okay? Because, and this is a two-way dynamic range, all right? Just because somebody else decides, hey, I'm going to take your food, well, I got a vote in the matter too, homie. I mean, we can all play these games. right? Two-way dynamic shooting range. I get to vote 2. So don't gamble the most precious thing you have, your life, for something that you can obtain right now, food. That's a stupid policy. Josh Froman, bless you. Doing the things, grow my own food, preserve food. Bless you, thank you. And who we got over here? Dynaboy, thank you, Dynaboy. So, stack it to the rafters. Stack what? Prepper Classroom. What's a rafter? Prepper Classroom. How do I stack it? Prepper Classroom. What should I get? Prepper Classroom. Where do we go? Prepper Classroom. There are over 2,000 videos here between Patreon and YouTube on preparedness. 2,000. We probably got a video on it. Okay. Also, workaholic. Who's bad at sabbaticaling? This guy. You know what I'm supposed to be doing right now? Sleeping. You know what I'm not doing? Sleeping. You know why? Because my dog was murdering coyotes all night, and there's only so many times I can get out of bed with a rifle before I'm like, F it, it's coffee time. So, cheers. All right. Civil unrest. Protect the Results Coalition already planning on violent, coordinated national action if Trump loses and doesn't step down. Talked about this yesterday. They will likely behave badly even if he wins. Okay, you don't build a big machine to enact coordinated violence and then not use it. Okay, we've seen this with Antifa, BLN, the NFAC, all of which you are probably just sitting on the sidelines watching right now, just waiting. Pah! In fact, we know that they are because BLM and Antifa's own messaging indicates that they are waiting in the wings to see who wins. There will be chaos in the streets. Not everywhere, not even all the cities, but in a lot of places, there will be chaos in the streets. Let me piss a bunch of you off. How do you deal with that? Don't be there. At least temporarily, don't be there. Is there a link to the Prepper Classroom? It's right here on YouTube. Go to my channel and click playlists across the top banner. Tango Charlie. I've met Tango Charlie. Tango Charlie knows how to do TCCC stuff now. Tango Charlie gave us a wonderful gift that is now hanging on my wall. Bless you. So, civil unrest shall continue. And also the beatings shall continue until morale improves. So never forget that. One old man and Steve Wilson, coming to the Ozarks in the spring. See you then. Bless you. Thank you. And so civil unrest. What do we talk about all the time with this, man? Have groups, be well trained, contact your sheriff, understand that your sheriff is perhaps the last bulwark against federal tyranny. Yeah, talk to your sheriff. Hopefully you have a good sheriff, but talk to your sheriff. Go buy your sheriff lunch. Sit down, talk with them, find out where they stand on key issues like, are you just going to let the feds roll in here and tell everybody what to do? Because some of them may. And a lot of these sheriff's departments are on the hook with Department of Homeland Security, which is a drum roll, please, federal agency, because they took things like MRAPs and machine guns from DOD, gave them to DHS, DHS gave them to sheriff's departments that are typically underfunded. And they said, we will train you how to use this stuff. All we got to do is if things get sideways, DHS will partner with your SO, your sheriff's office, and we will coordinate. Well, it's very hard to say, no, y'all can't come in here when all the equipment and gear that you have came from DHS. So it's worth investigating that, because in many places, especially if there's a disaster declared, read up on your sheriff's department and your county's disaster plan, because most counties' disaster plans, it's in black and white that the sheriff's department will coordinate with Department of Homeland Security. So all you need is for the state to declare some type of disaster, and the sheriff's department, in many cases, in many counties, is now subject to DHS authority. That's a problem. So yet again, civil unrest, talk to your sheriffs. All right. Here's a little break. Let's take a little break. We're, what, 40 minutes in? Jeez. Can't even shut up. What the hell is this? This is the bare minimum. It's about this big. It's handmade, made in America, guaranteed forever. Look, stitched by hand. See that? See that? Look at that. Ballistic nylon. Comes in red, gray, black, OD green, coyote tan, marpat woodland, and multicam for all the cool guys. But you have to be a cool guy. If you're a coyote, if you are not a cool guy and you order multicam, we're going to send a Bear Nation inspector to your house to assess your cool guyness. If you're not a cool guy, we're going to repo your multicam, bare fac, and bare minimum. Okay. So obviously it's Molly capable. You hang this on your face, your plate carrier, your chest rig, the back of your headrest, the top of your Jeep, your submarine, wherever. If you have a problem, you pull the tab open just like that. Up top here, I've got some combat gauze stuck in here. That is an additional, but you can add that at checkout. We've got some combat gauze here for wound packing. Pull this right out. Shingle comes out. Got everything you need and nothing you don't for treating wounds. Wound packing. Tape, 6-inch North American Rescue trauma dressing, 14-gauge decompression needle right there in the middle. Yeah, for tension pneumothorax. Check that out. Nitro gloves, Gen 7 cat tourniquet. Then down here in the bottom, we got our stack. What's in the stack? We've got our 7¼ inch North American Rescue trauma shears with the little O2 bottle opener tabby thing right there. That's how you know you're a cool guy. 28 French nasal pharyngeal airway with Surgilube, 2 5x9 trauma pads right there, gauze pads, and then not one but two, not compact but full size high fin chest seals. All that is inside of this kit that costs less than $200. It's handmade, made in America, guaranteed forever, and it's a far better product than some of the other companies out there like Trauma Pack and My Medic and several others. Also, I'm happy to report that if you use one of these to treat an injury or save a life, document it and send it to us, and I will send you all the guts to replace what you used for free. Let me repeat that. If you use one of these to treat an injury or save a life, document it and send it in to us, and I will send you all of the guts that you need to replace what you consumed for free. Okay? Hit me at admin@Bear Independent. Additionally, I'm happy to report that within 1 week from today, the vast majority of our back orders on bare facts and bare minimums, our back orders will be filled. Okay. And then we will also have an inventory. So our shipping times will be considerably lower because we'll have product on the shelf to ship to you. Because hashtag building small businesses during a global pandemic, because, riding may affect shipping times as well. But for real, our bare minimums and our bare facts, the vast majority of them that are currently back ordered within 7 days will have shipped. Okay. And then we will have an inventory. So if you'd like to order one of these, please do. Again, handmade, made in America, guaranteed forever. We've only saved 11 lives with them, though. Only 11, not 12, not 13, just 11. We've only saved 11 lives that we know of with these things. They are HSA eligible, FSA eligible. You can use promo code BearNation for 10% off your order. And it was shout out to all the Vikings and to all the Bear Nationals who came out to stop the bleed training in North Texas on Sunday. It was great to meet y'all. And shout out to Pastor Joe Fox at Viking Preparedness. I appreciate you, brother. And it's great. I love meeting the real people on the other side of the iPhone. Thank you for letting me meet the real people on the other side of the iPhone. Y'all are tremendous. It's what keeps me doing this. So we got a couple slots left open in Tulsa. It's either Wednesday or Thursday of this week in Tulsa in the evening. If you want to come to a 4-hour badass Stop the Bleed class derived from an 8-hour TCCC curriculum, come on with it. Most Stop the Bleed classes are like, here's a tourniquet. I'll be back in an hour. Don't die. Not this. This is 4-hour intensive. It's an 8-hour curriculum boiled down into 4 hours with a lot of hands-on practical application. So anyway, all that's at bearindependent.com. The bare minimum, if you want to be a cool guy, you can get it a multicam, but we will come to your house and confirm that you are indeed a cool guy. Otherwise, red, green, tan, gray, black, marpat, woodland. That's only for Marines, though. Marines, we don't want any stolen valor. People running around there with a Marpat Woodland kit and they don't know. Yeah. Anyway, just messing with you. Buy whatever freaking color you want. The economy grew 1.7% last quarter, up from the 0.6% estimate that the big they were forecasting. That's a good thing. It's a very good thing. However, because of COVID supply chain issues, many companies are shifting from just-in-time logistics to just-in-case. I find a cool girl, question mark. Who's this guy? I don't know. Should we find this guy a cool girl? What do you think, Phelps? You think we should find this guy a cool girl? Marfat is proven better still. Awesome. I'm a cool guy. I don't know. Lives Outdoors is trying to find a cool girl. I got 0 of those for Lives Outdoors. What do you think? Phelps had to leave. All right, Storms, you're on bat. Should we find this guy a cool girl? What if he's just a weirdo that lives in the woods? Why not a bear dating site? What if I am a cool girl? Do I get camo? Oh, okay, that's what you're trying to write. What if I am a cool girl? Do I get camo? Yeah, well then you can get camo too. That's fine. Hey, if you're a cool girl, apparently there's a lot of requests for a bear dating site. So, however, I feel like the ratio is going to be a little bit off. So, I wish you the best of luck, Lives Outdoors. That might be good for you. It'll be harder for the rest of the Bear Nationals to find you if you live outdoors. I'd like maybe get underneath a tent like right now and throw some leaves over the top of it so nobody can see. The economy. Companies are shifting from just-in-time logistics to just-in-case logistics because of COVID-19. Supply chain issues and logistics are a nightmare. Believe me, we've had to do this here. Just-in-case logistics versus just-in-time logistics. When I started this first aid company, I could order Quick Clot 3 times a week, no problem. It now takes me 6 to 8 weeks to order Quick Clot. To put an order in. Every 6 to 8 weeks, I'm allowed to put an order in. So, yeah, I get it. You know what that means? That means I got to carry 6 to 8 weeks at a minimum of Quick Clot rather than 2 days worth. So there's a lot of capital tied up in that. And I'm not the only one that's having to deal with this. Companies all over the world are having to deal with this. So there's a lot of people who are holding inventory and therefore tying up capital. So even with all that capital being tied up in the inventory that's being held globally because of global supply chain issues, the fact that the U.S. economy grew 1.7% last quarter rather than 0.6%, that's almost 3x the estimated growth of the economy. However, let's just go ahead and talk about this. Where is it? Right here. Our buddy Bill. You might know Bill. Had a little company called Microsoft. Here at the Blaze, headline is Bill Gates shutting down economy, not nearly enough to stem climate change. We need to get rid of emissions from all the different sectors. Bill, you are straight up a reptilian, dude. Like straight up. Like I see exactly where the dot would go from the space gun to eliminate your reptilianness. Billionaire Microsoft founder and climate activist Bill Gates and climate activist, no way, really? Those two things go together? Billionaire and climate activist, got it, said Monday that large-scale economic shutdowns are nowhere near sufficient to curtail climate change. Rather, we need to get rid of emissions from all the different sectors. Gates made the remarks during a keynote address for the National Academy of Medicine's 2020 annual meeting. Why are we discussing shutting down the economy and climate change at the 2020 National Academy of Medicine? Hashtag COVID-19. Hashtag COVID 2020. Remember, syndemic. It's no longer a pandemic. It's now a syndemic. Remember, we started talking about this 8 months ago that COVID is going to be used to crash land the world's economies. Here we are. Gates made the remarks during a keynote address for the National Academy of Medicine's 2020 annual meeting, which this year was titled Confronting Urgent Threats to Human Health and Society, COVID-19 and Climate Change. right? Don't worry, Bear Nation. We only called it 240 days ago. That's all. Just 240 days ago, we called this. No big deal. Quote, the change in behavior, like driving less or flying less, is helpful, but nowhere near sufficient. 2020 is a great example of this, Gates said. We've cut down carbon emission with these drastic changes in the economy, but the reduction in emissions is actually quite modest. He noted that this year, even with the implementation of large-scale economic shutdowns in many places around the world due to the coronavirus pandemic, the global emissions rate was only cut by 8%. So we've shut the whole world down, only cut emissions by 8%, and that's not enough for Billy G. Simply shutting down the economy is not going to get us to our goal, he concluded. So just like we needed innovation for COVID-19, we also need that to get rid of emissions from all the different sectors and bring down climate change. This crosses many areas, Gates continued, how we make electricity, how we make industrial products, grow food, cool our buildings, and all of transportation. Or STFU, dude, get back on the mothership and go back to Pluto, wherever you came from, which apparently is not even a planet anymore. Is this accurate? I don't know. I thought there were 9 stellar bodies in our solar system. What's going on here? Very upset about this. So Bill Gates sucks. We're all aware of this. Yet and still, I'm using one of his products right now, which I guess I'm pretty upset about. However, global billionaire, got it. Gates recently reiterated many of the same details with Bloomberg News at the Bloomberg Green Festival, in which the tech billionaire argued stopping climate change is a much bigger problem than the coronavirus pandemic. Tackling climate change, he said, would require starting many decades ahead of when you want that solution deployed. The report from Iron Mountain, 1952, was talking about how to produce revenue for world powers and or seize control of economic sectors. And it talked about, in 1952, large unattainable goals like war in Southeast Asia, Korea, Vietnam, going to the moon, which did we ever go to the moon? Whatever. Kuiper belt radiation or Van Allen belt radiation, who knows? Large unattainable goals like weather. And here we are with climate change and trying to get to Mars. The report from Iron Mountain, definitely worth checking out. Transport, industry, buildings, electricity, all of those things, and agriculture contribute to emissions. For many of those sources of emissions, we have no solutions, he added. With climate, we need increased speed and more. We need policies. We need more research and development money. We need more risk capital because of all those hard areas. The price tag on many of these supposedly needed investments would likely be in the trillions, but that's not necessarily surprising, given the whopping cost of the left's Green New Deal plan, which is estimated to be at least $10 trillion. In July last year, the Competitive Enterprise Institute estimated that if the Green New Deal was implemented as currently proposed, it would cost the average household only $70,000 in just the first year. So, good job. The economy almost tripled in its expectation for growth in the last quarter, but let's just utterly destroy it with Marxist policies and giant unattainable goals. Fabulous. Rome is burning. Rome is burning. What else is new? We're just trying to touch on some of these touch points, but there's so much going on in the world. We're 54 minutes into the hour brief, and we still got a whole nother page to do. So I guess we're going long. Whatever. Examples of Rome is burning. Also from the Blaze. Court rules against Ghislaine Maxwell. Orders testimony to be unsealed in Jeffrey Epstein case. The former girlfriend and longtime aide of the late sexual predator billionaire Jeffrey Epstein lost her bid in court to keep her testimony sealed. A court ruled Monday that the 418-page deposition from April 2016 of Ghislaine Maxwell would not remain unsealed. Maxwell had appealed the ruling by a lower court, but the three-judge U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit ruled against her. We have reviewed all the arguments raised by the defendant appellant Maxwell, appellant, the one who's appealing, on appeal and find them to be without merit, the judges said. They also ruled against the petition from Maxwell to consolidate her case with that from criminal charges of the Southern District of New York. Maxwell's attorney argued that the testimony should remain sealed in order to preserve her presumption of innocence. Lady, you're gonna hang, and you should. An attorney for several of Epstein's victims hailed the ruling. Quote, "This is good news, not just for the victims of Epstein, but for victims everywhere," said lawyer Spencer Cooven. The court should not be a party to a long history of Epstein and his co-conspirators' attempts to avoid public scrutiny for their actions. Everyone who was a part of the Epstein sex ring should be concerned. In September 2019, after Epstein's death, U.S. District Judge Loretta Preska indicated that many people could be implicated by the public release of the documents. In some of these documents, there are literally 1,000 people, she said. A lawyer added that some of the information would be life-changing for many involved. Now, the article goes on to say Epstein was found dead by his own hand, negative, in August 2019 in a prison cell in Manhattan, New York, while awaiting his court case to proceed. Some have noted that former President Bill Clinton had many interactions with Epstein, including documented trips to his island, where many accusers claim they were sexually assaulted by Epstein and his guests. So, Rome continues to burn. Lady, you should burn with it. And let's see, from do the clicky thing, make a better freaking program, Bill Gates. From One America News Network, what do we have over here? DNI John Ratcliffe, Hunter Biden's laptop is not part of a Russian disinformation campaign. No spooky, bro. Director of National Intelligence John Ratcliffe has said that Hunter Biden's laptop is not part of a Russian disinformation campaign. We just talked about this yesterday. In an interview Monday, he called out Democratic House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff for claiming such. Adam Schiff should probably be sharing a cell with Ghislaine Maxwell, but whatever. Ratcliffe stated the intelligence community does not believe Schiff's claims because there is no intelligence to support them. Let's repeat that. Ratcliffe stated that the intelligence community does not believe Schiff's claims because there is no intelligence to support them. The Republicans also said the laptop is in the jurisdiction of the FBI, and the Intelligence Committee has not been involved in the matter. Remember yesterday in that USA Today article talking about how, well, we tried to get a hold of the copy of the laptop, but we were unable to be, Rudy Giuliani would not provide it to us. It's in the jurisdiction of the FBI. They're not going to go, oh, here you go, USA Today. You just, or at least they should not. They might at this point. Shabba-dabba-da, blah, 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 representative, blah, 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 did some stuff. Bannon has accused Joe and Hunter of stealing money from the people of China as well as Ukraine by aiding and abetting their corrupt regimes. Cool story, bro. Essentially, they caught Hunter Biden red-handed here, which is great. Good job. We'll see what happens next. Charges? Probably not. And how about a little bit of tyranny? What do we got going on here? Health and Human Services, HHS Secretary Azar urges Americans to keep taking steps to stop the spread of COVID-19. No, I won't do that because kiss my ass, bro. Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar recently discussed what's ahead for the nation in the fight against coronavirus. What's ahead for me and the Bear Nation is nothing. We're going to go to work, and we're going to drink coffee, and we're going to love our families and provide for them and protect them and do all the things that we're commanded to do. And you can kiss my hairy white ass, bro. Wait a minute. I'm Cherokee now. Barristan. Kiss my hairy red ass, bro. On Sunday, he confirmed cases are increasing because the weather is getting colder and there is less social distancing. He also noted the massive amount of COVID-19 testing lends itself to a jump in positive results. Azar explained that Americans are getting tired with lockdowns and mitigation effects are causing fatigue. Quote, we see these cases spreading wide because we've been in this for many months and people are tired. You get mitigation fatigue. People get tired. However, he went on to urge the public to push ahead and keep following guidelines. Whatever. The steps to mitigate right now are simple, he added. Please wash your hands, watch your distance, and wear your face coverings when you can't watch your distance. Okay. Except I'm happy to announce that I have yet to, in the last 7, going on 8 months, wear a face covering one time. I won't do it. I won't do it. The Torah says you put sick people outside the camp and you cover them from here down. I won't do it. Azar also touted the administration's program with CVS and Walgreens, which he said will help get a viable vaccine to the nation's most vulnerable. Shut up, bro. And on that note of shut up, bro, Moderna says COVID-19 vaccine could be ready as soon as December with FDA approval. This is from IB Times, which is internationalbusinesstimes.com. Moderna CEO Stephanie Bancel says its COVID-19 vaccine could begin as soon as December. Distribution could begin as soon as December. Phase 3 trial delays could push distribution into early 2021. And Moderna expects to meet the U.S. demand for the drug. It will also manufacture it in Switzerland for international distribution. It goes on to say that of the 7 clinical trials that they have, they expect that 4 of them will fail, and then they're of 30,000 people each. So they're going to purposely infect about 210,000 people. They expect that about 120,000 of them, the vaccine will fail. 90,000 of them, the vaccine should work, and then they're going to double and triple down on those 90,000, keep reducing it down to a core group of 15,000 people, pull data from those 15,000 people, and then use that to synthesize the drug. Also, no, I'm good, thanks. I'm good. So that's fun. Thanks, Moderna. Now, I need more coffee, so you're all going to look at the bear flag. I'll be right back. Talk quietly amongst yourselves. Okay. All right. This live stream sucks. Oh, wait a minute. There we go. All right, back to the comments just for a hot minute. Let's see. I want a bear flag, fly it among my other flags. My toddler is over here. Where'd Bear go? I love Bear Daddy. Oh, Eric Michael's toddler. Bear has returned. My coffee pot got mugged. I love it. They're using shark oil for a vaccine. Nah, I'm good. I don't want any of that. Do you like Sepultura? You mean Roots, Bloody Roots, bro? Come on, man. Nice comment, Mark Chase. Pinkies up, Dudley. Pinkies up. Tommy Salter. Shalom, brother. Good morning. Um, Need bear candles, gunpowder, bonfire, pine, cigar scent. I like that. So, biotech is Godzilla. Oh, goodness. All right, listen. AdventureFrontier.com. You guys know the deal. Armor, IFAKs, fluffy bunnies. If you want to be one of the cool guys, you go to AdventureFrontier.com, or cool girl. If you're living in the woods underneath the tarp with your husband trying to escape the Bear Nation, and everybody who wants to date everybody else in the Bear Nation, what's going on here? And you're like, I'm worried about all these people who are trying to date me. I feel like I need to be better protected. I'm going to get some armor from AdventureFrontier.com. Level 3 plus, level 4 multi-hit ceramic plates, side plates, trauma pads, Condor Mop Cs, and the Ranger carriers, and the Bear FAK, and the Bear Minimum, and the Bear Active Shooter Response Kit, and all the things, and tourniquets, and compressed gauze. They got all them things. And they got your fluffy bunny stickers, your patches, your hats, all the cool stuff. They got all the cool stuff at AdventureFrontier.com. If you use promo code BearNation, you'll get $10 off, and you'll be supporting a small business whom we love. They're the best. They're tremendous. Believe it, believe it. The NWA Prepper is a very, very good friend of mine. He's a brother, and he's also he's not just the owner, but he's also a client, right, of the Nude Wrestling Association. NWA Prepper Nude Wrestling Association. The fact that that man could figure out a way to combine his passion for two completely dissimilar things, nude wrestling and preparedness, I raise a glass to you, sir. That is incredible. Will the Bear FAK protect me from COVID? Can I wear it as a mask? Oh, works pretty good. That's a start. You could weave your beard into the molly, like right here. If I had some paracord, yes, you could put some ear loops on it. Good to go. And there's also some BZK wipes in here, which for needle decompression, which are good for you as well. So, you could just wipe your face down constantly with it for sure. All right, disinformation. How about this? Where'd it go? There it is. From OAN, One American News Network. U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee will vote on sending subpoenas to Twitter and Facebook on October 22nd. Please do. This is a very short article. The U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee will hold a vote on sending subpoenas to the chief executives of Twitter and Facebook on 22 October, it said in a statement. If an agreement for voluntary testimony is not reached, the committee will vote on authorizing the subpoena at a date to be determined, meaning that we're going to talk. Either you're going to come in voluntarily or I'm going to compel you to come in, but either way, we're going to talk. And I think they should at this point. The whole idea between platform and publisher is it's a massive freedom of speech endeavor at this point. I think a lot of y'all were live on the live stream when we got the plug pulled on us not that long ago, a few days ago. And a platform hosts the content and just allows it to flow from there. A publisher determines what content can and cannot exist. They not even censor, but they tailor the information. Well, to this point, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram have all said, no, we're platforms. We're not publishers, so we're not subject to your authority as publishers because we're platforms. Buy your own server. Now, okay, why rely on YouTube? Digging, there's a couple of reasons here. The first is buy your own server. It's just like you buying a rifle and putting it underneath your bed. It doesn't do anything unless you've zeroed it and you know how to use it, right? So it's not just buying the things, it's having the people to implement and manage the things. It's a massive endeavor. It's at least it's a bigger endeavor than I have the stomach for right now, let alone the budget. Haven't even put a cost to it yet. The second is, why even deal with YouTube? You're here on YouTube, aren't you? I'm here on YouTube. We're all here on YouTube. There's 1.3 thousand of us right here on YouTube. Which, by the way, shout out to like the 1,000 of you that show up every day when we do this. We got 102,000 subs, and there's consistently 1,000 plus here every day. I appreciate you. Thank you. And I know not everybody can catch it live, but I really do appreciate it. Only here for you. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Frankly, the eyeballs are on YouTube. Me having a private server filled with my content where nobody can see it doesn't help anybody do anything. And while I don't like YouTube at all, and they don't like me at all, at least we have a place here where we can do this. And I would like to remind everybody here that while our first aid kits, purpose-built, handmade, made in America, guaranteed forever, blowout kits have saved 11 lives, fervent prayer here at this channel has saved 15 lives that we know of. And that's not including the men's group on Patreon and the prayer chain that goes on there. So we're reaching real lives. We talk about this all the time in the Silver Linings. There are real people on the other side of this iPhone. And that's the only reason that I keep coming back to YouTube, is because you are a real person. You sitting there right now listening to this, you are a real human being. And my time is literally irreplaceable. So if I can give you something that's educational, edifying, perhaps even entertaining, actionable, so that you can go out in the world and be a better version of you, so you can go be the light, so you can be the hands and feet of Messiah, and I have to use this platform to do it, so be it. I will struggle with this platform in order to create the opportunity to pour into you. I don't like it here. I don't pretend to like it here. I have never been shy about the fact that I don't like it here. The reason I'm here is for you. It ain't for me. Believe me, it's for you. But what I get out of it is I get to meet y'all. I get to hang out with y'all. I get to see the fruit that is being, that is growing, coming to fruition on the other side of this iPhone. And so we're in this strange tangled partnership between two parties that love each other and YouTube. So if YouTube is the thing that allows us to do this, awesome. Praise the Father. And how terribly badass is the Father that he can use this, not just me, but this broken platform in order for us to do this. Okay? So, yeah. Respect for all you do. Pray for Canada. Trudeau is going full tyrant. Roger that. Bless you. Thank you. Bear, check your Instagram. We sent photos. Copy. We'll do that one of these days, I promise. In addition to all the other things we got going on. Lastly, on disinformation. From the Blaze, Twitter tries to cancel Chris Pratt for being a Trump supporter. Reports say it's all because he isn't set to appear at a Biden fundraiser. Social media came for actor Chris Pratt this weekend, blasting him as a Trump supporter and more, though he didn't do anything save for possibly declining an invite for an upcoming appearance at a Biden fundraiser. Pratt, who has appeared to be largely apolitical, came under fire this weekend after TV writer Amy Berg, whose avatar is a picture of the late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg wearing a set of boxing gloves, shared a 4-split photo featuring the most popular Chris's of Hollywood. This is just a bunch of blather. Who gives a living flip about this? The point here is they are starting to eat their own. They have been eating their own. And while Chris Pratt is, allegedly a conservative, I believe him to believe in Messiah. He's been pretty vocal about that. He's in Hollywood. How long is that going to last for him in Hollywood? Not very long. However, Chris, if you're watching this, or if any of your people are, come see us. You'd probably fit in here at the Bear Nation. We could hang out. We'll sit you down, talk to you, teach you how to shoot a gun, teach you how to stack some buckets, um, teach you how to read your Bible. It'll be a good time for you. They're eating their own. They're eating their own. What else we got going on here? That's pretty much it. GrindstoneMinistries.com. There is a huge raffle. If you'd like to pour into us, that is a great place to start. GrindstoneMinistries.com. There's about $3,000 worth of tactical gear that is going to be up for grabs. One winner. It's $5 to enter. You can buy one ticket, 100 tickets, 1,000 tickets, 10,000 tickets, whatever floats your boat. $5 a ticket. The more tickets you buy, the greater chance you have to win. There will be one winner, and it is our fall fundraiser. So if you go to, yes, it's on Grindstone only. It's not at bearindependent.com because it creates massive accounting issues. Okay, so Grindstone money is Grindstone money. So you can go to grindstoneministries.com, and it's the first thing. It's the banner right there when you first get there, grindstoneministries.com, and it's the fall fundraiser. Okay, and yeah, a lot of people have been like, Bear, you should put it back on bearindependent.com. Well, it's not a Bear Independent thing. It's a Grindstone Ministries thing. And frankly, we've seen donations suffer on this raffle as compared to the last raffle, because the last raffle was hosted on bearindependent.com. But it makes it, it's a freaking headache mathematically on the back end to figure all that out. So with that being said, I would love it if you'd please check out grindstoneministries.com. You help Grindstone do what we do, which is rescue and rehabilitate victims of human trafficking and sex crimes. So if you want to partner with us in the doing of that, that's a great place to start. You can also click the donate now button. So yeah, grindstoneministries.com. Huge raffle. Check it out. Do the things. Disastercoffee.com. Your life might be a disaster, but your coffee shouldn't be. Disastercoffee.com. There you go. This is the Tsunami Blend, refreshing medium roast of cocoa and floral. Ingredients: coffee. This stuff's freaking awesome. By the way, just saying, me and Disaster Coffee, we were chatting this morning, and Disaster Coffee would like to send their warm thanks to you, the Bear Nation, for supporting them. And I think the exact words were, "The Bear Nation is awesome." I was like, "Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they are." And in addition to that, there's a strong chance there could be a bear blend coming out. So just hang on to your jockstrap. It's coming. All right. The bear blend. It's going to be a good time. Disastercoffee.com. Amendment, the number one preparedness. Amendment1preparedness.com. If you need prepper commo, that's the place you go, is amendment1preparedness.com. Double Tap and Hillbilly, thank you. By the way, packages arrived. You're tremendous. Bless you, brother. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You rock. That's a giant spoon, by the way. Amendment, the number one preparedness. If you need prepper commo, that's where we get our prepper commo from, because it's the best. So I ran out of coffee yesterday. I almost called 911. Yeah, that's that. No, I can't even fathom a world. So get your radio things and your battery backup things from Amendment 1 Preparedness, please. Huge supporter of the show, huge supporter of Grindstone. They've been around for a long time. They've been really good to us, Bear Nation, so check them out. And Sanctified Supply Co., the unofficial uniform of the Bear Nation. Sanctified Supply Co. Go check them out. Jerry and Lucia, tell them the Bear sent you. And help those kids run their business. Just help those kids run their business. Do they take electric panels to shock you clear? I don't know what those words mean. Those words are so hard. The forums at bearindependent.com is the place that you go to date each other, fall in love, raise up little prepper children together in a missile silo somewhere in the side of a mountain in Montana. You know, whatever. Be respectful. That's a rule here. Even if we disagree about the shape of the planet, we maintain respect for each other. Agreed, Matthew Storms. Are we really going to fight about this, Bear Nation? Let's, don't make Bear mad. We made it almost 90 minutes without Bear getting mad. I will schwack some peepees if we got to schwack some peepees. Differing opinions are good to go, but you will not, every one of you will not speak badly to anybody else in the chat. Everybody here is your brother or your sister. Let me repeat. Everybody here is your brother or your sister. Be nice to one another. If you can't be nice, I'm going to hit you with a blue wrench. Because if anybody gets to be mean, it's me. And nobody likes it when Bear gets mean. So we can disagree about all kinds of things, but we will disagree politely. We will not try and score points on one another. And we don't have to win. There is no win. We don't name call here. We lift each other up. The world out there is a big shitty place. We will not do that here. If you do that here, there will be ramifications. So consider this a gentle warning to everybody without my blood pressure spiking and going through the roof, because I've only had like 16 cups of coffee so far today. Be nice to one another. What does the shirt say from Sanctified Supply Co? Stay humble and kind. And I know sometimes you have to literally write it on your chest so that you will remember it, because I have to do that sometimes. But stay humble and kind. Those names above you and below you as you're commenting, those are our people. That's your brother. That's your sister. Lift them up. Do not tear them down. There are enough places on the face of this earth, whether it be round or spherical or flat or whatever, that is already trying to tear us down. This place will not be one of them. Are we all clear? Tracking. Copy. Intel at bearindependent.com is where you send your intel and your silver linings. Please stay in touch with us. Intel at bearindependent.com. Garen, shalom, brother. Intel at bearindependent.com. I want your good news. I want to know what's going on out there in the world, because, like I said, there's too much bad. We're not going to add to it. I want to know the good stuff. Okay. Also, massive shout out to the head dance monkey in charge and all the dance monkeys who run our intel department, the unsung heroes of the bear industries machine. We appreciate y'all. You're the best. And, every now and then you could send a love note to the monkeys at intelbearindependent.com. Just let them know, hey, keep doing a good job. Y'all are the best. Lastly, if you've been lurking this whole time, you better click subscribe. Or I'm gonna come to your house. I'm gonna inspect all your multicam and go, not a cool guy. Not a cool guy. Let's pray. Good morning, Father Yah. Father, thank you that even as the world burns, literally and figuratively, you are sovereign over all things. Father, thank you for striving with us, for enacting your will upon us, for refining our souls, for crushing us and convicting us, destroying us so that you can put us back together the way we ought to be to do your Father, thank you for taking the time to refine us, to bring us closer to the thing that you fearfully and wonderfully made in the first place. Father, thank you for walking with us, for giving us a life and showing us how to lead it, for sending Messiah here to be the light unto all nations, to gather your men and women back to you. Father, thank you for fearfully and wonderfully making us for this time and this moment and these circumstances. Thank you for commanding us to be strong and courageous and teaching us how to be strong and courageous. Father, if there is anything inside of me or anything within the sound of my voice that's not of you, I rebuke it in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ. I command it to flee. And I pray that you would fill us up with your Ruach HaKodesh, your Holy Spirit, for wisdom and discernment, for even the very elect would be deceived, for strength and power and authority, so that we might do all these things and more in your mighty name, for healing, because you are the author of all that is good, and you made these bodies that encapsulate our eternal souls that belong to you, and for peace that surpasses all understanding, that even as the world burns, you are sovereign over all things, including us, that there's a purpose for our life. Father, thank you for pouring into us, for convicting us. Father, thank you for revealing the reality of who you are and how you operate, and just how incredibly powerful you are to me daily. And I pray that you would just build that testimony in everybody within the sound of my voice. And Father, that you would use us to build testimony for others today, that we would be your hands and your feet, that you would put us where we need to be, that you would convict us, that you would give us your words, and that people would come to know you through us, that they might see us and see you shining through, that we would be the light. Father, thank you for sending Yeshua to make a way for people like us to come home again. And Father, I lift all these people up and I lay them at your feet. I ask that your will would be done with us and that you would bless us in the doing. And ask all these things in the mighty name of Yeshua HaMashiach. Amen. Amen, storms. Most blessed path. Bear Nation. Good coffee time this morning. I appreciate y'all. Go do the things.